All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, I'm doing one that was by request. 3 Crazy 1983 had sent me a request about doing a video, and since he sent a super thanks with it, I felt a little compelled to do it. I saw a clip not too long ago along these lines anyway, and I was on the fence if it was enough to do a video, but since he compelled me to do it, I'm going to go for it. And this is, does Kareem Abdul-Jabbar have any kind of a case to be above Michael Jordan, or to be the GOAT, any way you want to look at it? And I went in depth in Kareem's career, of course Michael Jordan's career. There's no case to make. But Nick Wright tries to make one. And I'll let you listen to what his take is, and then I'll give you mine.
So why do I have Kareem ahead of Michael Jordan? Quite simply, he did so much more in the league. I've heard Kevin Wildes and others say, well, yeah, LeBron's 10 trips to the finals. If he had 6 rings with those 10 trips, then that would be more impressive than Jordan's 6 rings and 6 trips. Well, that's Kareem. 10 trips to the finals with 6 rings, and by the way, also 6 MVPs. What about scoring, which is what Jordan did best? Well, Kareem had the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. He also set the record for most points in a career. Before I was born, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 15 seasons, finished top 5 in MVP voting. Michael Jordan did not play 15 complete seasons. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was first or second team All-NBA, 15 seasons. Michael Jordan did not play 15 complete seasons. What about as an old guy? Because I've heard you guys explain to me, Jordan came back at 38 years old and led the Wizards to 37 wins. Kareem at 38 years old won finals MVP. Michael Jordan at 40 years old averaged 20 points per game for another 37-win Wizards team. Kareem at 40 years old averaged 22 points per game in the finals. And at 41, in a game 6, had the final play of the game drawn for him, hit 2 free throws, forced a game 7, won another championship. So that's as an old guy. What about as a young guy, Brew? Both were drafted to 27-win teams. Michael took his 27-win teams to 38 wins. Kareem took his 27-win team to 56 wins. Wow, that seems impressive. Oscar wasn't there yet. Year 2, by the way, Kareem won Finals MVP, League MVP, greatest season arguably ever, 66 wins. Michael was swept in round 1 and his team won 30 games.
Okay,
that's it,
well,
Kareem.
keep going.
I'm going to make the case.
It's
the audacious case that the guy with the most points, the most rings of the era, and the most league MVPs is better than Michael Jordan. It's an audacious case, but I just made it.
In his mind, longevity's the backbone, just like LeBron. My thinking is why he wants to put Kareem ahead of Jordan is because then it's easier to put LeBron ahead of Jordan, because we're using longevity as the base of the argument. Oh, he didn't even play 15 full seasons, and yet Jordan had a much better career than either LeBron or Kareem in less seasons. That's what I think burns his butt more than anything, that he doesn't have a leg to stand on. He picks on Jordan about he quit the sport and he didn't play 15 complete seasons. He didn't play long enough. He played longer than Larry Bird. He played longer than Bill Russell, longer than Magic Johnson. There's so many other great players he played longer than, yet he did more in his time. So Nick Wright made the case that Kareem was on a 27 and 55 team just like Michael Jordan was, right? That's what he said. Milwaukee had players like Flynn Robinson, John McLaughlin, all-star level players. I think they both made an all-star. But in the year before, in 1969, things that were different in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia was one of the best 4 teams in the conference. Well, they lost Chet Walker, and that was a Hall of Famer that went to the Bulls, and the Bulls were in the Western Conference. So Chet Walker's out of the conference. And then Boston loses Sam Jones and Bill Russell, making it much easier for Milwaukee to have a better record. But Kareem did not get drafted by himself in 1969. These are the types of details that Nick Wright is never going to tell you. He only gives half-truths and omits things on purpose to make his narrative sound better. But Bob Dandridge, a Hall of Famer, was also drafted to the Bucks in the same exact year as Kareem was. So you can't really say how good Kareem was by himself. Now, Kareem obviously is a great player. He should be in everybody's top 5. But to be the runner-up or the GOAT or third, I can't get there, and I'll explain why. Bob Dandridge, by the way, won a championship without Kareem, away from Kareem, in 1978 when he was on the Bullets, FYI. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won over 55 games in his career 13 times. Here's what that looks like. In 1970, they were 56-26, his rookie year. That at least is true what Nick Wright said. But they got beat in the East Finals in 5 games. In 71, they won the championship. They acquired Oscar Robertson to go along with John McLaughlin and Bob Dandridge and Kareem. I mean, it was just an unbelievably great team. They won 66 games. In 72, they won 63 games. The only thing that was different was they went 1-4 against the Lakers when the year before they went 4-1 against them. That's where those 3 wins disappeared. And they lost to those Lakers in 6 games in 72. They were a 63-19 team. Okay, whatever. Lakers, one of the best teams of all time, the 72 Lakers. No problem. 73, though, the Bucks were tied with a 60-22 record with the Lakers. They didn't even make the West Finals. They got upset in the semifinals by Golden State. Big upset. Big time upset. And 74 is a 59-win team. Easily the best team in the West. Well, what happened? They get to the finals. They have home court advantage. Game 7 at home. And Kareem gets outplayed by Dave Cowens, and they lose in 7. 1975 to 1979, Kareem struggled. He really did. He had a couple of seasons that weren't bad and all that. But for the most part, once Oscar and before Magic, he's just like any other star would be away from another superstar. And he had good players on his team. This wasn't like Jordan on the Bulls. Oh, no. I'll get to that in just a minute. But here comes Magic in the door. In 1980, they win 60 games. Well, we all know Kareem got hurt in Game 5. Magic finishes it up for him in Game 6. They win the championship. There you go. So there's 2 of them. In 82, they were 57-25. They won the championship. In 83, they won 58-24. They got beat by the 76ers in the finals. Swept, in fact. In 85, they were 62-20. They won the championship. In 86, they were 62-20. They got gentlemen swept by the 51-win Rockets. In 87, they were 65-17, won the championship. In 88, they were 62-20, won the championship. And then in 89, they were 57-25, and they got swept by the Pistons. All told, whenever Kareem won over 55 games, it happened 13 times. He won 6 championships out of 13 of those situations. Jordan only had 6 of those situations. He won all 6. Bam. Right there is a big reason. Kareem also was either a number 1 seed or in the finals 13 times. He won 6 championships in 7 years. He didn't. So he was 6 for 13 as a number 1 seed and or in the finals. Michael Jordan, 6 for 6. That's exactly the type of thing I'm talking about. Now here's a really big separator in my mind. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in his career, played with 52 Hall of Famers on his team that played at least 20 minutes or more per game. 52 in his career. Oscar Robertson for 4 seasons. Bob Dandridge for 6 seasons. Gail Goodrich 1 season. Adrian Dantley 2 seasons. Jamal Wilkes 7 seasons. Charlie Scott 1 season. Lou Hudson 1 season. Spencer Haywood 1 season. Michael Cooper 10 seasons. Magic Johnson, 10 seasons. James Worthy, 7 seasons. And Bob McAdoo, 2 seasons. That's not too bad, is it? 52 seasons of a Hall of Famer logging at least 20 minutes. That's nice. How about Michael Jordan? How many Hall of Famers did he have logging 20 minutes a game or more? Scottie Pippen for 8 years, 8 full seasons. Dennis Rodman for 3 seasons. And I even threw in Tony Kukoc for the technicality people out there that'll say Kukoc is in the Hall of Fame. Fine. Michael Jordan played with 14 Hall of Famers that logged 20 minutes per game or more for an entire season. 14 versus 52. Who do you think had the better teammates? Is it even a debate? How about non-Hall of Famers, but players that were either on the MVP ballot, made All-NBA, All-Defense, or an All-Star? One of those things. How many of those teammates did he have? Well, he had Flynn Robinson, he had Lucius Allen, Jim Price, Don Chaney, Norm Nixon, and A.C. Green. Not bad. That's in addition to all those Hall of Famers. Michael Jordan, Horace Grant, made all defense once. That's it. That's the non-Hall of Famers making an All-Star or All-League alongside Jordan. Just Horace Grant. That's it. That's all you got. Now, these 6 MVPs that Nick Wright talks about. Now, for me, you got to take some of these with a grain of salt. Now, he's going to go down as having 6 MVPs. That's the most, right? But let's be reasonable and realistic and give you some context here. In 1971, when Kareem won his first MVP, that was on a 66-win team. There's no doubt he deserved it. But it was going on when the ABA was going on. Does that mean he doesn't deserve the MVP? No, I'm sure even if the ABA players were in the NBA, Kareem probably still wins that MVP. We're never going to know for sure, but probably. In 1972, the same thing. The ABA was going on. They had a really good season, but he also had Bob Dandridge and Oscar Robertson on his team. And in 71, Oscar Robertson finished 5th for MVP. That doesn't hurt. And in 72, Oscar finished 15th for MVP. He had players like Lucius Allen and Bob Dandridge and all that. In 72, Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West finished 2nd and 3rd. They basically canceled each other out. They had the best record in the NBA, but that allowed Kareem to snag the MVP. But fine, whatever, okay? He's got 2 legitimate MVPs, we're going to call it. In 1974, Kareem won the MVP by 14 first-place votes. These are really close, and the ABA is still going on. There's easily a case to be made he should not have got it. A player like Bob McAdoo was right there in the conversation. In 1976, for sure, Kareem should never have won this MVP. The record was 40-42. They missed the playoffs, and you give him MVP? He won it by 4 first-place votes. One of the closest, if not the closest MVP of all time in 76. A losing record. And he had a Hall of Famer on his team, Gail Goodrich. These are the kinds of things Nick Wright's never going to tell you. He said, oh yeah, well, Jordan on a 37-win Wizards team. Well, Kareem was on a 40-win team with a Hall of Famer, while Jordan was playing with Popeye Jones and an often injured Richard Hamilton. Yeah, no difference there, right? Or Lucius Allen, who's cracking top 15, top 20 MVP ballots. In 1977, Kareem wins the MVP. The number 1 seed out west, right? He won this one pretty convincingly because he didn't have any Hall of Famers on that. That's the only season Kareem ever played without Hall of Famers, 1977. And he won that MVP. Do I think he deserved that one? Maybe. You can make a case for it, sure. Okay. Well, come Western Conference Finals time, they got swept 4-0. Bill Walton outplayed him. Now, the argument's going to be, I've got into discussions with this in the comments section. Oh, well, Lucius Allen got hurt. And Kermit Washington, too. So make up your mind. Is Lucius Allen a key cog to that team? Because if he is, he had Lucius Allen on all those teams. 71, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lucius Allen was a good player. He wasn't great, but he was a good player, sure. Well, if he's there then, that kind of adds to the strength of his team in the early 70s. But if you're going to say he's no big deal, then him not being there in 77 should be no deal. So you're going to have to make up your mind one way or another there. And then in 1980, of course, he won the MVP, a big help from Magic Johnson. Kareem, numbers were starting to dip a little bit until Magic got there. Then they started to rise again. In 80 and 81, his numbers go back up again with Magic Johnson. And of course, he has 2 Finals MVPs out of 6. Like Nick Wright said, at 38, he won the Finals MVP in 85. True, he had a great series, but it was one series. At 40, he averaged 22 points a game. It was one series. One series. Yeah, he had a nice series. Good for you. But that's all it was. Let's not act like Kareem was the best player. He wasn't even the top 2 players, at least in the last 2 championships. Not to mention, in 82, Magic Johnson was Finals MVP. 1980, Magic was Finals MVP. But I'm not saying Magic was the best at that time. But I would say clearly by 82, 83, Kareem was not the best player on that team. He gravy trained 3 championships. He got 2 Finals MVPs, and he got 6 championships. That's what he has. What do you want me to say? That's what he's got. He had a lot of opportunities that he didn't cash in on. He also got outplayed by a lot of centers. He lost to a laundry list of Hall of Fame centers. And I mean a laundry list of them. Willis Reed, Dave Cowens, Jack Sikma, Robert Parrish. The list really does go on and on. Obviously, Akeem Olajuwon, Moses Malone twice. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. He got outplayed by Bill Walton in 77. In 1979, and this one always gets me, Kareem and them had on his squad, you know who he had? He had Adrian Dantley, he's in the Hall of Fame. He had Lou Hudson, he's in the Hall of Fame. He had Jamal Wilkes, Hall of Fame. He had Norm Nixon, a trajectory Hall of Famer that got derailed by injuries, loaded. And then they win 47 games and can't get out of the semifinals. Then Magic comes along and completely changes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's fortune. Kareem went 5 seasons from 1975 to 1979, 5 years in a row, and did not win 1 conference finals games. Not 1. You will not see Michael Jordan with 5 years of never winning a conference finals games. Even his first 5 years, he won 2 of them. And Kareem had the better players. He had Gail Goodrich. He had Charlie Scott, Lucius Allen, Norm Nixon, Adrian Dantley, Jamal Wilkes. He had these guys. There really is no case for Kareem to be ahead of Michael Jordan. I'm sorry. If you're a longevity guy, fine. But even still, Kareem was not affecting winning until Magic Johnson was there. Once Kareem retired, or even once Kareem got old, they didn't need him. They just went out and got Vlade Divac. Went to the finals without him. The year before, in 1990, they had the best record in the NBA. They didn't need old, broken down Kareem. They stopped needing him probably after 1986. 87, he did have a nice finals, sure. But he wasn't the MVP. Magic dusted him in points, rebounds, assists, steals. Magic led and all that stuff. Kareem was a very good player. When he was in the 70s, younger, he was a great player. He was the best player of the whole decade of the 70s. But he was not so good that he could win every time he had one high-level player on his team. He couldn't. And he had 52 Hall of Famers on his team playing 20 minutes or more for a whole season. 52! While Michael Jordan is over here with 14. Come on. And they both have the same number of championships, and Jordan was the best player on all of his 6 finals MVPs. I don't want to hear it, all right? He did all his MVP work, most of it, when there was an ABA going on. So that has to be taken into consideration. When the ABA and NBA merged, the 77 season, Kareem played 13 years in that. He won 2 MVPs, 1 with Magic, 1 without. He won 4 of his MVPs during the ABA. Now, granted, that was probably more closer to his prime, although the prime should have been his entire 70s, even into the early 80s. But I'm just saying, yeah, but there wasn't really a marquee guy to take the MVP away from him. Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain were getting old in the early 70s. In the mid-70s, yeah, Dave Cowens. I mean, yeah, he's a top 75 player, Bob McAdoo. But come on, they're not killers. It's not like you had Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon to go up against and Shaquille O'Neal to go up against for MVPs. Not at all. He didn't have any of that. A lot of those players and the guys who were, like Dr. J, he's in the ABA. George Gervin, too, at least in the early mid-70s. So, there you go. I see no case at all for Kareem. I think he's a little overrated. He's a great player. He belongs in the top 5. But, come on, ahead of Jordan? Only idiots say stuff like this. Even if you don't like Jordan, there's no case to be made that Kareem, with way better teammates, had the same number of championships and won some cheap MVPs. Even the ones he won in the NBA were cheap by the votes. I mean, it was so close. 40-42 team, you win MVP. Okay, if you believe that's legitimate, awesome. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content, and that's it. Until next time.